drivers, start your engine! Entering its 7th season, the Lapped Traffic Podcast has brought you over 300 shows, driver and media interviews, awesome stories and entertainment, and one of the coolest fantasy leagues around. Get ready for another exciting season. Sit back, relax, and try not to get lapped. Now, here's your host, the Professor, Brendan Crown.
Oh, what is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 316 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Yes, I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Good to be back behind the mic. Last week with the race on Monday, there was just no way I was going to be able to throw something together of quality anyways for you guys. So here we are after an unscheduled off week, thanks to Mother Nature. But good to be back. Busy weekend, went to the zoo, had a birthday party to go to, some family over, and got a couple of very busy weeks ahead. Berlin, MIS, SummerSlam, and maybe, just maybe, even an extra surprise, which I'm not sure if it'll be a bigger surprise for you guys or for myself. I am going to keep it under wraps because I don't want to say it if it doesn't happen. So just stay tuned and you'll know it when it happens, if it happens. So there's a very poor teaser for everybody there. Found out last week that the media credential request for the SRX race at Berlin was approved. I was going regardless. It was just a matter of where, which means I have a single general admission ticket available. I'm happy to give that away. So the first person that reaches out and, hey, as long as you can get to the race, you want to go, let me know, and you've got yourself a free ticket that is hard to get. So I'm just putting that out there. It's a single ticket. Let me know. I will tweet it out as well. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, speaking of Berlin, Eric from the Super Speedway podcast and I are going to try to do a tweet up. I'll bring some shirts, some stickers, koozies to give away. So hit me up if you are going to be there in a couple weeks, Thursday at Berlin for SRX. I am pumped for that. Oh, I'm jacked. And then it's SummerSlam a couple days after that, which I'm getting so amped up about, and then MIS. So I'm jacked. It is going to be a very busy weekend. Thank gosh I took Monday off because God knows what time I'll get out of bed, probably around noon, and then probably come down and record. So lots going on. I'm excited. And speaking of MIS, tonight, the official MIS hype show. If you've been around a minute, you'll know the guests because they've been on before, specifically for MIS. And then we'll see, typically the week before and the week after MIS, Jeff Striegel is on for a back-to-back shows, and obviously, Jeff Striegel's a little busy with SRX and Berlin the same weekend of MIS. So I haven't reached out to him just yet, but we'll see. Hopefully, we can get Jeff for at least one of the two usual guest appearances by him surrounding MIS. So that's what's going on. We got Pocono. We got people yelling at tow truck drivers on the track. We got helmets being thrown. Man, Pocono brought it. That's for darn sure. And the weather held off. The first time in months, it feels like. So lots to do. Lap Traffic Fantasies heating up. All that good stuff. Let's get this MIS hype show kicked off with Michigan International Speedway track president Joe Fowler. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his third appearance on the show, getting ready to host some great racing here in a couple weeks for my home track. Welcome back, MIS track president Joe Fowler. Joe, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How are you?
I am awesome, man. Thank you for coming back on the show to hype up MIS weekend. Your last time on the show was when we did episode 300, and I can't believe, that was, leading into the off season, and here we are already midway through the summer and getting ready to go racing at MIS.
I know. Time flies. It's unbelievable. We were just talking in a meeting this morning about we went straight into event season. It's been full bore ever since. And now we're, I think 11 days away from people camping on our property for the big race weekend coming up. So it's exciting. We're pumped up about it, but yeah, time sure does fly.
Absolutely, man. Second race weekend for you coming up at MIS. What's the difference for you, personally and professionally? Now that you got the first one out of the way, jitters, quote unquote, gone. How are you going into your second weekend or second race weekend here at MIS?
Yeah, personally, I think having the experience of going through it once is certainly helping me with, the confidence of knowing we're doing the right things. And I'm thinking about all the details that need to be thought about and all of that. So that's been good for me just on a personal level. Professionally, last year I thought we had a really good event and it was a lot of fun, but we learned a lot along the way too. So we've spent literally the day after the dust settled, we start talking about the things that we're going to do for the next year, this year that we're getting ready for. And, all the planning that goes into everything from the experience people have when they're here and they can physically be a part of, like in our midway as an example, to the details of how we communicate, what we communicate, when we communicate, all those things kind of come together. So, year two, this has been a blast so far. I'm looking forward to the race weekend getting here just to see the fruits of our labor.
Absolutely, man. No, I'm with you on that. I am just as excited to get back to home base, if you will. Joe, you and I were talking before we hit the record button here about the new logo that MIS came out with in the off season. Michigan Speedway's had a couple different transitional logos over the last, maybe decade or so and different themes, if you will. I absolutely love this logo. When I look at it, I feel kind of like almost fall-ish just by looking at it. What was the thought process behind what you guys wanted to get out of the new logo?
Well, there are a couple things. I love the new logo too. I think it's a logo that just makes you happy. It's a nice nod to the Irish Hills with the curvature of the landscape, of course, the trees, the sun, all the things that make, Michigan as a whole, but this particular area of Michigan here in the Irish Hills so special. And, I think a big part of it for us is when you go through a rebrand, especially 1,400 acres of property, as you can imagine, we have a ton of logos that we have to change out. But it's an opportunity for us, too, because it gives a fresh pop of color in areas that, frankly, needed it. And,
sure,
it just gives us a chance to freshen our look and feel. It's pretty exciting. I was nervous going into it because I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I was also thrilled about it too, because like I said, it's an opportunity for us to just make the place look great, and it's coming together and it does look great. I'm really pumped.
I am pumped to buy a t-shirt at the MIS stand right outside of the tunnel and fan entrance to get to the campground, because that's where I always buy my MIS merch at and sport that. And the funny thing is, it's like you don't typically see too much track merch. You may see driver merch out, like maybe at, Comerica Park or at a bar downtown. But if you're wearing track merch, like that's always been a conversation starter for me. Like people will come up and be like, oh, were you at such and such race? Or were you and it's a great way to just randomly meet new NASCAR fans. And I absolutely love that. And that's why I love sport and track merch.
I do too, and you're right, because when you follow a team, you have team merchandise and you have team gear, and in our sport, we certainly have that. People, wear Joe Gibbs racing shirts, and they have a Kevin Harvick shirt. They have that, but it's pretty special because you can feel it when you're here and you interact with fans, and just the energy on a race day. People love this place. They love Michigan International Speedway too. So. It's a huge part of the sport, and to me, it is cool that people are running around wearing MIS gear throughout the year. And yeah, you're right. That's a pretty unique thing for our sport, but it's really cool.
Absolutely. Joe, we got some returning sponsors, and we got a new sponsor for Saturday's Xfinity race. Run down the event lineup for everybody for MIS weekend and talk about the sponsors. Obviously FireKeepers is incredible. We're going to have Jim Wise on the show a little bit later on. Just run down the events for us.
Sure. Well, the schedule is different this year, but the lineup is about the same. So last year we had ARCA, we had the Henry Ford Health 200, and then we had the Xfinity race on Saturday, and then, of course, the FireKeepers Casino 400 on Sunday. This year, we've mixed it up a little bit. So Friday will be the ARCA Menard Series Henry Ford Health 200. Saturday, like you said, we have a new partner. Saturday will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and Cabo Wabo is the new partner. So it'll be the Cabo Wabo 250, which we're excited about. And then, of course, Sunday, the big show, NASCAR Cup Series, FireKeepers Casino 400. And I'm excited. I'll listen in on Jim, too. He's such a great guy. He's a good partner for us to have.
So I love talking to Jim because I'm no stranger to FireKeepers Casino or maybe a few others, and I love talking like odds with Jim and just having some gaming fun with Jim because he's obviously no stranger to that. And Jim and FireKeepers have been great supporters of the show. They typically give some tickets. Last year was incredible. They had Joey Logano, and they invited me and my wife out to FireKeepers, and I got to meet some fans during the meet and greet and got to do an interview with him, which was awesome. So, I mean, again, that's just part of the cool thing of this podcast and Michigan and just being able to make connections and things like that. And I absolutely love that aspect of it and being able to help promote, and even if it's in a small way. And you guys are awesome. Jim is awesome. Talk about Cabo Wabo though. Like that's unique. How did that formulate and come together for you guys?
Well, it's a good partnership. They're a brand that's really high energy. They like to be the center of the party, right? And we definitely have that here at MIS with our fan base, and just a really good fit. But I'm excited because that is a great brand to have on our Saturday race, and they are so much fun, and they have so many good ideas. One piece of that sponsorship is they're actually going to be on what we're now calling the Turn 4 Club, presented by Cabo Wabo Tequila, and it was previously called the Acceleration Club, and they have ideas of how to just enhance the vibe in the area. We're going to have a combination of indoor and outdoor activities, and they've just been a lot of fun to work with.
Awesome. That's sweet, man. No, I'm excited. I love seeing new sponsors and ventures and opportunities like that. That's going to be great. I think. And I can only imagine the type of, we'll see FireKeepers on the Midway or the Causeway, Fan Plaza. I'm excited to see them out there. We've seen and heard a lot of positive feedback from the fans about the track and the actual racing over the last couple of years at MIS. What can the fans expect to see when they actually get to the track for race weekend?
Well, they're going to see some really fast on-track action. I think we were, if not the fastest track last year, right up there at the top. And so the speeds are going to be incredible. It's sort of interesting. I talk about this a lot. When the next gen car was making its debut, there were a number of people that have been fans forever that said, okay, I'm not so sure about this. It's a lot different than what we've been watching for years. And, we'll see what happens. And that car has produced unbelievable racing. I mean, you follow. It's incredible. And the race we had last year was really competitive. We had a ton of passes, a lot of lead changes. I mean, those are all the things that people in the stands want to see. And so to have it come back to MIS this year, right here in the backyard of the auto industry, our fans are excited. And so am I, because I watch every single week. And I'll tell you, in my opinion, this is the best racing we've ever had since I've been watching. And I can't wait. It
is definitely been some great racing at Michigan. I know there were some years where there was some critique about the racing at Michigan, and the next gen car has definitely helped remove that, which I am excited about because, like we talked about a few minutes ago, you got your diehards that are coming out regardless. But when the racing's good, that'll draw the fans from, Ohio, that'll draw the fans from Indiana, that'll draw the fans, maybe from Chicago that just went to the street course and like, man, I want to go to another one. And, oh, here's a great opportunity. And that's what I love. And the stands were full last year, and I cannot wait to see this place this year because I think now that people were like, man, I want to see it on TV first before I make the commitment. I can only imagine what this place is going to be like in a couple weeks, and I think it's going to be absolutely awesome.
It is. It is funny because we hear that from fans. They're like, you know what? I missed out last year. I'm not going to miss it this year. And so that's pretty cool. And, look, last year was record setting. And this year already, I think we're into, 19 or 20 races. I mean, we've had a ton of winners. And so what we're seeing is that when you show up at any race, whether it's an oval or a street course or a road course, I mean, it's anybody's race to win. And that is exciting when you're a fan. That's what people want to see. That's what builds the excitement.
Absolutely. What about entertainment wise, Joe? What's on the docket for everybody?
Yeah, well, we're going to make an announcement here in the next couple of days about some of the concerts that we'll have. We're going to have, some things in the Midway, obviously, in our what we call NASCAR experience in Fan Plaza. Excuse me, I say Midway all the time. But in Fan Plaza, we'll have, DJs. We'll have some live music out there. Saturday night, we'll have a band out there. We'll have an infield concert. We'll have dueling pianos one night. We'll have a couple local bands and a couple other nights. So there will be plenty of music throughout the entire weekend, and it'll be fun.
Awesome. What about opportunities for the fans? That's one cool thing that I think MIS does an incredible job of in terms of, some different package options, some meet and greet opportunities. What are some things fans still have an opportunity to possibly go participate in?
Yeah, well, I would say first and foremost, it's really important to us as a track and as a team to be able to offer, affordable prices for people, especially in these times. And so I talk to people a lot and say, if you're, a family of four and you have two kids, you can come to the track for less than $100, and it's free parking, and you can bring your own food and beverage in a soft-sided cooler. So it's extremely affordable just to get in the door and have a great seat and have a great time. But for people that want a different experience, something that's a little more elevated, I referenced it earlier, the Turn 4 Club presented by Cabo Wabo Tequila. That's an awesome add-on to a ticket. You can go in there. There's food and beverage. We'll have driver appearances. There's music and entertainment. So that's certainly one. And if you want a really high-end experience, things like our Victory Lane Club in the infield, you're inside of this beautiful suite that overlooks Pit Road, and you get to go down after the race is over, get your picture taken in Victory Lane. It's a really cool experience. But to your point, it's important to have a little bit of something for everybody, because people come and they want different experiences. What I like may not be right up your alley. And so we want to have a diverse, group of offerings to hit the right people with the right things.
Oh, I'm with you there. I love being in Victory Lane as someone that, maybe only gets to a couple races a year from the podcast side of things. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do, after the race, is be down there in Victory Lane. Those that follow the show and have followed the me for a long time on Twitter know, like, my Victory Lane selfie, is a thing, and I can't wait to go and do that here in a couple of weeks. So it's always a great time at the racetrack. It's a great time at MIS. The tweet up is always fantastic. You guys do a great job with that, whether sometimes a driver shows up, the acts that may be performing pre-race have shown up there a couple times. So it's always a great time to get out to MIS, and I cannot wait to get out there. I have to ask one teaser question, mainly because Jim is going to be on in a couple weeks, and I always not poke fun at him with it, but I always joke about the trophy and how awesome the dice trophy was a few years ago, and I know it's been a slot machine themed trophy the last couple years. Have you seen the trophy yet for this year, and can you give a teaser for it?
The honest truth, Brandon, is I have not seen it yet. And even if I did see it, I would let it be a surprise still. But yeah, they have awesome trophies.
They do a great job with the trophies. There is no doubt about that. And, I think a trophy that often gets underlooked or, doesn't get enough credit is the manufacturer's trophy that gets awarded at MIS. I know the teams, the drivers, MIS is circled, just because of bragging rights from the manufacturer side of things. And I think the manufacturer's trophy is pretty sweet too. So that's also up for grabs in a couple weeks.
100%. Yeah. The manufacturer's trophy, what we call the heritage trophy, it's a big deal. And, whatever manufacturer wins that race, when we hand them that trophy, you can see it. It means something to them. And that's really cool for us because it's something that's very unique to MIS.
Yes.
It doesn't work anywhere else. And,
no.
and, being right here in the backyard of the industry itself, I mean, I say this quite a bit, but, Ford and Chevy, they want to protect our home turf, and Toyota would love to come in and steal a victory here. So it actually does mean something to the drivers and the teams and the OEMs. It's a big deal.
Absolutely. Honestly, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of college football, in-school rivalry trophies, like the Paul Bunyan Trophy, the Little Brown Jug, like that. That's, what I kind of feel with that trophy is it's the bragging rights, with inside the organizations, and I love it.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, Joe, where can everybody get tickets? Hit the website, phone number, all that good stuff, and give some last plugs for everything.
Yeah, well, you can certainly call 888-905-7223. That's a number where you'll be greeted by an agent that can help you get set up with whatever you might be looking for. I tell people I love going to the website. Go to mispeedway.com. There are menus for every different person that might be looking to come and have an experience here at the track, whether it's for the full weekend, whether it's for one day, if it's in the grandstands or some of those elevated experiences we've talked about. There's information about all of those, and I think it's a great resource. So that's what I would recommend is checking it out first. And if you still need a little bit of help or you just need a recommendation, give us a call.
I love it. Awesome, man. Joe, thank you so much for coming back on, helping to hop up MIS weekend, and look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, man.
All right, man. Sounds good. Look forward to seeing you.
Thanks. Take care. Oh, Lap Traffic Nation, there you have Joe Fowler from MIS. Cannot wait to get out to the track here in a couple weeks, see him. The unfortunate part is I'm only going to be there on Sunday, and, I love being at the track. It feels like home, and this is one of the, I wish we had the June race this year, because then at least I could have gotten my full dose in, but, I'm not going to complain. Two different tracks in a 3-day stretch with Berlin and MIS, so that's okay. We can handle that this go around here. So no worries there. Let's keep the MIS hype going. Then we'll do some race talk, and we got a special driver on the line, too, a little bit later, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So with that being said, let's talk to my good friend from FireKeepers Casino, host of the FireKeepers 400 in a couple weeks at MIS, Jim Wise. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his 5th appearance on the show. He is the VP of Marketing and Sports and Online Gaming. Welcome back to the Lap Traffic Podcast from FireKeepers Casino, who will sponsor the FireKeepers 400 in a couple weeks at MIS. Jim Wise. Jim, what's up, man? How are you?
Well, it's great to be with you once again and to make a contact with you and to all those who listen into this. And we're pretty pumped up. We plan almost the whole year, but, when you wake up and you're like, wow, we're pretty much only 2 weeks out from race day, then it really comes into a different kind of thought in your mind. And so now we're getting real close, and we're really excited.
I am excited. Jim, 7th year as sponsored MIS. I love that this partnership has gone on this long. The sad of it is you don't see that type of longevity anymore, and I hope in 3 years we're talking about an awesome 10th anniversary celebration with you guys.
Couldn't agree more. We're thrilled with it. Again, when there were 2 races, it was special. when there's only one, it is extremely special. We're thrilled to keep the race at MIS and to keep NASCAR racing in Michigan. And we see what everybody else sees, which is track ticket sales seem to be going up, and that's a positive for retention of racing and to bring even more potentially back into Michigan. So that's a really good thing. So things at the track seem to be on an uptick, and the folks over there do such a great job with guest service, and that kind of matches how we operate here at FireKeepers.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of FireKeepers, I know the second edition from the hotel side of things has been open a minute now. I know you guys redid a couple of the restaurants. Talk about what's new game-wise, hotel, restaurant, all at FireKeepers.
Well, we have a ton of new games on the floor. We've got a huge Rope in the Riches promotion for the month of August, where our top prize is a Ford Bronco Raptor winner. That was an extremely tricky vehicle to secure, and we're thrilled to have it. August is our anniversary month. We've actually been here 14 years now, so people need to head to our website because we've got promotions almost every day, something fun and special to celebrate our 14-year anniversary. And one of those things is bringing defending champion Kevin Harvick to FireKeepers. He's going to be there Friday night, August the 4th from 5:30 to 7:30. You do need to be 21 years of age or older because this meet and greet is held out in front of Dacey's Tap House and Sportsbook in the casino, but it is, quote, open to the public, so people reach out to me periodically like, do I need a ticket? That answer is no. Do I have to earn X amount of points on my rewards card? That answer is no. So, people can line up, and we'll line up probably 30 minutes to an hour in advance, and we kind of stick to one item at a time, but you can grab a photo and an autograph, and if you have an item you want to have him autographed, then bring it along, and we're excited to have Kevin. He drew, probably 6-7 years ago, easy. Kevin was at FireKeepers, and, with this being kind of his swan song year and being the defending champion of the race, it just made perfect sense to have him at FireKeepers. So again, that's Friday night of race weekend, 5:30 to 7:30.
That's awesome. That's very exciting. I was able to join you guys last year with Joey Logano, and that was an awesome time. A lot of people lined up, and it's great to see that. Jim, what can fans expect to see from MIS? What can fans expect to see at MIS from FireKeepers around the racetrack this week? This race weekend.
Well, we got tons of signage everywhere for both our physical brick-and-mortar casino, but we also talk a lot about our iGaming, which people either from Michigan or somebody coming in from another state and being here a few days can download our mobile app, and there's going to be tons of different wagering opportunities on the race. So, if you want to wager on the car brand that's going to be in the winner's circle, or this driver versus that driver, or all sorts of creative things, they should either download the mobile app. If they do have a laptop or desktop computer, they could certainly sign up that way. And we're going to have a lot of action ready to go for people for the race through our iGaming portal, and we think that's great. We'll also be out in Fan Plaza, as we always are. Our marketing team will be out there doing a great job, and people can come by and play some games and have an opportunity to win some prizes as well.
That's incredible. I love everything about that. Speaking of online gaming and all of that, any special new sign-up bonuses or promotions for or centered around race weekend?
Not yet, but they should always check in the days leading up to. We always look for, some unique way to draw even more activity to it. Right now, our sign-up bonus is a wager $5, and you get $125 in bonus wagers. And on the casino side, it is up to $500 bonus match on your first deposit. So we have separate offerings for iCasino and iSports, and we hope we can find just the right thing for our guests who are either, again, maybe coming into MIS from some different part of Michigan and maybe hasn't downloaded the FireKeepers app yet, or for people who do wager periodically and are aware of us and just maybe haven't pulled the trigger. Here's a great opportunity for them to do so. So, again, they can wager $5, get $100 in free wagers. Those wagers come within the form of 4 $25 free bets. So, again, they can go over and make that first deposit and get into the game.
I love it, Jim. Jim, we talk about this every time you're on, just how awesome the property is at FireKeepers. It's a great location, the perfect pit stop, no matter whether you're coming to or from MIS. And I got to tell you, I love this. The wife and I got a letter in the mail from you guys saying that it's been almost a year since you've been here. We miss you. Jim, that is a hook, man. I love everything about that.
Well, we do want to make sure, listen, we're human too. And sometimes, sometimes there's a good reason that the guest just has not been able to get to FireKeepers. But we want to make sure that if we've stubbed our toe in any way, that we're outreaching to the guests and just not making them feel like, hey, nobody's thinking of me. So when you do get to that 12-month mark, you are going to get a letter, and we sincerely want to understand, hey, what maybe has caused you not to be here. In your case, it's a great one. You got a small family. You got to take care of the little one. You got a lot of time and focused in work and other things, so it's just not always that easy. But we always want to make sure we're trying to do the right thing and say, hey, you know what, we really do miss you. We want to get you back. And you mentioned earlier something new. We've got a new upcoming in probably early September, I'm going to say. We're adding a noodle bar. And we're also moving our mini Baccarat games over into a pit area adjacent to that noodle bar. So the noodle bar is going to be called Fortune 8, and 8 is a very lucky number in Baccarat. So the Bach games and then the Fortune 8 noodle bar are going to be adjacent to each other in space that used to be our old Nebe restaurant. So that is something brand new that isn't even there yet and won't be there race weekend, but should be there in early September.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Jim, I got to wrap with this. I joked with our MIS track president, Joe Fowler, earlier in the show, asking him if he's had a sneak peek at the trophy yet. He said he hasn't. You guys do such a great job with it. Can you give a little teaser what we can expect the winner in Victory Lane to be hoisting over their head?
Well, I think, although we made a couple of minor tweaks, we really love the large slot machine. I mean, we've tried dice games and other things, but I still think, the key is it's almost like a billboard. At a distance, can you tell what the message is? And in our case, when people hold that up at a distance, people can tell right away, hey, this is a casino and this is FireKeepers. And that's the most important thing. So we are going to stay, although we always kind of tweak copy and do some little things around to make sure that the trophy reflects the newest games on the floor. But I think we're going to stay slot machine oriented again for 2023.
Excellent. I love it. Jim, man, thank you so much for calling into the show, helping to hype up race weekend at MIS. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And something tells me you're going to see the wife and I very soon at FireKeepers.
Well, you better. I'll have to send you another letter.
Thanks, Jim. We'll see you race weekend.
Take care.
Thanks. All right. Great to talk to Jim Wise from FireKeepers. And I'm telling you, if you've not been and you're in at Michigan, in Michigan, driving across 94, pop in. If gambling's your thing, it's a beautiful, beautiful casino. All right. Let's talk a little Pocono here. Kyle Busch picking up the truck win, 64th truck win of his career. 100th win for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Toyota had a milestone win with Hamlin's win. So some pretty big milestone wins across the weekend, which is pretty cool. With regards to the Truck Series, one more race, regular season. And at this point, really, unless someone outside the top 10 wins, Stuart Friesen's really the only one that's got a shot to maybe point his way in, provided Matt Crafton or Nick Sanchez has a bad day. So we're either talking Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton for our bubble watch, with the potential of maybe someone winning from the outside the top 10. I don't know that's going to happen. If it hasn't really happened much yet this year, I don't foresee that happening, especially at a track like Richmond. It'd be one thing if it was a road course, something like that. Xfinity Series. After back-to-back wins, John Hunter Nemechek struggles. Finished 32nd. Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry. Josh Berry, he swept the first two stages. And, little off cycle there, it seems like, for those two guys. Finished 23rd, 24th. But Austin Hill, 4 wins. John Hunter Nemechek, 4 wins. There's your class of the field. Cole Custer, 2 race wins after a very, very slow start for Cole Custer. It was just like, man, what is going on here? Especially after, he had a 7-win season before moving up to Cup, and it took that team a minute. But here they are, 4th in the standings, 2 wins there. So we'll see what's going on there. 7 more races for Xfinity Series. They've got Road America this weekend. One off there. It's just the Xfinity Series at Road America. Then over to MIS, Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Darlington, and Kansas. So they got a couple more to go. And then the Cup Series. We had helmets being thrown. We had Joey Logano going off on the the track guys there trying to get a tow truck. You had some struggles for Ryan Blaney. And then the big question, did they or did they not touch? And that just seems too creepy to use that verbiage there. So I'm not going to, but I will let that be a debate for you guys. The big thing for me is, the Cup Series only has 5 more races to go before the playoffs. Richmond, MIS, Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. And we got 2 HMS guys. We got Bowman and Chase Elliott outside the top 16 with, for missing races, not as big of a point differential. Bowman's missed 4 races. Chase missed 7 races. We're talking Michael McDowell in 16th at 455 points. We got Chase Elliott in 21st with 399. So that's just kind of remarkable that he's been able to even make up that type of ground to only be 56 points out. Can they point their way in? Are they going to have to win their way in? They've got a road course, that could always throw a spoiler in there with somebody maybe like Austin Cindric, who could go out there and pick up a win. So, or even AJ Allmendinger for that matter. So it is not concrete yet, especially with some big guys, some big names outside looking in. All right, I want to throw things back over to the MIS talk that we kicked the show off with this week's show being dedicated to MIS and hyping up my home track. So this week's question for you guys, what's your favorite memory from MIS, whether in person or on TV? So Scott at 1985 Wagner, June 1980, attended my first Cup race. Look at the names in the finishing order, sent a picture there. I pulled it up. It's just crazy to see the names. First off, Scott, I won't tell you that I hadn't been born yet for 18 months yet. I'll just leave that piece out there. But it was Benny Parsons, Yarborough, Buddy Baker, Neil Bonnet, Richard Petty. That was your top 5 at MIS, June 1980. Labonte was in the field, Dale Sr. Richard Childress drove the number. I forgot to look at what number he drove, but he was in the field as well. Waltrip, Gant. Man, you want to talk about an old school stacked field right there. That's awesome. Gina at Tech_Wench. So many. When Jimmy Johnson won in 2014, she was there. Meeting Brad Keselowski and Alex Hayden at a tweet up in 2012. Her first time at MIS when she won race tickets from HMS. Meeting Striegel and Becker Trackside in the pedestrian tunnel in 2019. I love it. Charlene at AskMac715. Won cold passes for a Saturday in 2014. Pictures with the King. Former track president Roger Curtis, Rodney Childers, Kyle Larson, and others. 2005 won a contest, was able to be a guest of Trevor Bain. That's awesome. We sat with the crew chief for the first half of the race. I've done that. That's so cool. That's awesome, Charlene. At Zin will win. I'll be coming to MIS for the first time. Super excited to hear about all the things. I love it. And Colin at Colin_with_cars. The Kmart 400 in 2000 was his first race. Very clear memory of his grandfather taking me down by the fence behind the flag stand while Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett flew past me. That's awesome. Taking his brother to the track for the first time in 2009 is also a great memory. I love that, guys. That is very cool. Very cool. Okay. Let's pick things back up with let's do some social media very quickly, and then we'll get Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the line. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and what's the new one by Meta, whatever? Yes, I'm on it. I've only made one post, though. That, too, is at Lap Traffic PC. If you've made it this far into the show, leave a review. Tell your friends. I've got T-shirts. I've got koozies. I've got stickers that I will bring to MIS. If you want a sticker or koozie, feel free to DM me, do an at me, email me, use the contact page on the website, however you want, and I am happy to send some out to you for free. Okay, now we can get to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his second appearance on the show, driver of the number 47 Blue Buffalo Chevrolet Camaro for JTG Daughtry Racing. Welcome back to the show, Ricky Stenhouse. Ricky, that was a tongue twister. How are you, man?
Yeah, that was a lot. Definitely a lot of words to get in there when you describe our race team, especially if you add all of our partners in. But, man, I'm doing great.
Excellent. Welcome to the show. Speaking of sponsors there, Blue Buffalo is going to be on the car this weekend at Pocono. I use their dog treats for our dogs, and you're going to have your dog featured on the car. How cool is that, and have you pre-ordered the diecast yet?
I'm not sure if I've pre-ordered the diecast. I'm sure my wife has, but no, it's super cool to have our dog Ruby on the car. Definitely kind of something that we threw out there, and Blue Buffalo was awesome enough to let us do that, and we're pumped to see it on the racetrack.
It's awesome to see sponsors, work with you guys as drivers, with NASCAR. We see it a lot, of course, with Darlington Throwbacks, with sponsors' willingness to, shift things around a little bit. And that's so cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about innovating and doing different things. Right. And, I feel like our partners at JTG Daughtry Racing definitely go above and beyond when it comes to that. So, love all of our partners, and the car looks great. Hopefully we can just make it as fast as it looks.
There you go. I love it. Ricky, we're headed to my home track here in a couple weeks at MIS. We've seen some different styles of racing at MIS over the last few years. The track's finally starting to wear in a little bit, with the new car obviously playing a role. You've been coming to Michigan for a long time. How have you seen the racing change there over the last few years?
Yeah, the track's definitely, coming in, like you said, to its own. And I don't know. I mean, it's a track that, has always been a little tough to pass because it seems like everybody's, kind of close to the same speed. But anytime a track starts wearing out, it goes through some rough winters and gets a little hot in the summer. I definitely think it makes it better. And we enjoy it as race car drivers. So, I think for me, Michigan is fast, definitely one that, your car is just really on the edge. You're pushing and pushing and pushing, and, one that you got to be careful.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned about, get a few winners on. I mean, Michigan obviously known for some snow and all of that. I joked with the track president earlier. I said, let's just go run a salt truck out there. Let's let it break up a little bit and, make it the new Atlanta. He didn't like that very much.
I definitely like that. I mean, the problem is the pavers and the asphalt companies have gotten way better at their job.
Right.
So it's made it difficult
Absolutely.
for us to get the racetracks we want.
Ricky, guys, drivers talk about turn 1 at MIS being one of the most challenging turns on an oval. Do you feel that way too, or have you found a way to master turn 1 on a restart at Michigan?
Sometimes I feel like it can be difficult. If your car's handling good, it's fairly straightforward, but definitely restarts, just trying to make passes, but also get, in the correct lane so that you are in the draft, down the straightaway. So that is where it gets difficult, is just trying to make those passes, but also get back in line, to straightaway. So yeah, it can be pretty tricky.
Sure. No, I can only imagine. One of the cool things about MIS is the manufacturer's heritage trophy that MIS hands out. Bragging rights for the manufacturer. Reminds me of the Big Ten college football, in-school rivalry or in-state rivalries and trophies like that. Is that something you guys as a team, talk about? Is it a circle on the calendar coming to MIS, for bragging rights for Chevy?
The manufacturers definitely they definitely love to win there. That's for sure. So especially the oval and the bow tie. I feel like it's a cage match, and so anytime you can win in their backyard is a feather in your team's cap. So we'll try and get that done for them.
You mentioned cage match like you knew SummerSlam is going to be in Detroit Saturday, the night before MIS or something there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is.
I think I do remember that last year. That was the same, right?
Yep. Oh,
yeah.
That's great. I know you guys don't get a ton of time when you get out to the racetracks, between practices and sponsor and appearances and all of that. But is there anything that you have found that you like to go and do if you do get a few minutes to escape, the motor lot there and go and see and do at Michigan?
I mean, in my previous endeavors and jobs, we did a lot of stuff in Detroit, with Etzel and everybody
sure.
Over there. But and obviously Jack and his museums and, doing autograph sessions and things like that. But as far as, a lot of activity, we'll go play golf every now and then, but normally, the way our schedules are, we're in and out pretty quick these days.
Well, especially, like Michigan, obviously, they used to have, it was practice on Fridays for sure. So it would be a 3-day weekend for you guys. Do you guys just come in on Saturday now?
Yeah, we'll get in, kind of later Friday for the part. So it's kind of crazy how much shorter the weekends have gotten.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Coming up to Pocono this weekend, we'll give Pocono some love. We won't give it all to MIS. Pocono, a unique beast in and of itself. Is it a challenge to go there, coming off ovals and, we were just at the Chicago street course, is it tough to make those types of adjustments, going to a track that is so unique and that you only go to once a year now?
Our guys keep such good notes of, every racetrack we go to and, any changes that we need. And so, I think for us as drivers, we pick up exactly where we left off most of the time pretty fast. So,
sure.
Pocono is definitely its own animal. Each corner is, obviously totally different, and something that really get your attention.
Sure.
And so for us it's tough, but we know where we normally struggle, and we know where we need to make speed and where to be better.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Ricky, I appreciate the time. I hope we're seeing Ruby in Victory Lane this weekend with Blue Buffalo on the car, and can't wait to see you in a couple weeks at MIS, man.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. Great to talk to Ricky Stenhouse again on the show. Very cool there. All right. It's time. It is time to close this thing out with a little Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. As with the Cup Series, there are only 5 more race weekends before we're setting the playoff grid in Lap Traffic Fantasy. And don't forget, this year, the playoffs have been expanded. So more than 16, I believe it's 24 players are going to make it. We'll have a big cut for the first round, and then we'll follow like normal. So with that said, let's take a look at this week. Well, let's see. How did I do this week? I didn't do horrible. I did pick up a win with Denny Hamlin, as did quite a few of you guys, as that was kind of expected and a popular pick. So I had Denny Hamlin. I had John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, I've been riding the John Hunter train for a minute here. It did not do too well for those of us that took John Hunter, only picking up 21 points. And then Truck Series, kind of mid-pack, took Ty Majeski with 98. I picked up 107 points. However, this week's week high picked up 135 points, 3 bonus points because of the 2 wins and the week high. And that was Benton Wilson, who had Denny Hamlin, Austin Hill, and Corey Heim. That's some strong picks there, my friend. I love it. All right, let's hit the top 10 here for segment 2. Currently in first place with 849 is Michael Nebbia. In second place with 830 is my buddy Eric Zalen. In third place with 829 is our segment 1 winner, Andrew Yu. In fourth with 819 is Steven, DFS NASCAR guy. In fifth with 817 is Dan Sherwood. In sixth, also a good friend of mine. In sixth place with 814 is Michael Mason. In seventh with 811 is Mark Luddington. In eighth with 809 is John Entwistle. In ninth with 807, Jonathan Lilly. And wrapping out the top 10 with 805 is Jeremy Waterbury. Yours truly, though, is 1 point back with 804 in 11th. So standings are pretty tight there. I love it. Over to the cumulative standings. In first place still with 2,047, Andrew Yu. In second all the way in Australia with 1981 is John Entwistle. In third with 1969, Jonathan Lilly. In fourth, 1959, Benton Wilson. In fifth with 1951, Henry Fletcher. Michael Nebbia, our first our points leader in segment 2, is in sixth with 1932. Steven is in seventh with 1923. Yours truly is in eighth with 1904. Dan Sherwood in ninth, 1894. Pete Curvin in 10th, 1889. G.R. Davidson in 11th with 1887. Matt Dabrowski in 12th with 1885. Jeremy Waterbury, 13th, 1884. Jumpy Bob and Kevin Hahn are tied for 14th with 1880. Scott Boys in 5th, 1878. And Joe Hewson is wrapping out the top 16, 1867. I text my buddy and I said, dude, you're in second place with segment 2. I said, but you shit the bed so bad in segment 1, you got some work to do. I'm like, you either need to win segment 2 to get yourself locked in, or you need to keep kicking ass with the points so that you can point your way in. So we'll see if he can do it. Bonus points, Andrew Yu still in first place with 13. Benton Wilson, Matt Dabrowski have 10. David Mullins, Jonathan Lilly, Pete Curvin, Tony LeBay all have 9. G.R. Davidson, Henry Fletcher, Joe Hewson, Lisa Chanana, Scott Boys have 8. And the list continues on from there. All right. Well, I think it is time to make some picks. Lap Traffic Fantasy, we are headed back to Richmond. And it's funny because I feel like we were just at Richmond, but I mean, we were at Richmond in April, and I guess April feels like yesterday. And yet here it is almost August, which is just crazy to me. Back in April, Chevy finished with a 1-2-3 with Larson, Josh Berry for Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain. And that's at a track that's typically dominated by Toyota, where only 2 finished inside the top 10. And it's not 2 that you may guess. It was not Denny Hamlin. It was not Martin Truex Jr. It was Seabell and Ty Gibbs. You probably wouldn't have guessed that, would you? 5 drivers inside the top 16 are winless. Bowman and Elliott are looking to get their win into the playoffs. Will we start to see some bubble drama with 5 to go in the regular season? We will find out. But first, it's time for my picks in the Xfinity Series. You know, do you go Austin Hill and ride his win? Does John Hunter rebound? Justin Allgaier needs to rebound. Josh Berry needs to rebound. Cole Custer. I mean, there are so many different possibilities here. I tell you what, with Daytona being down the stretch still, I'm not going to take my Austin Hill. I've only got one Justin Allgaier pick left to go. Oh, man. I'm torn. Josh Berry or John Hunter? I think I'm going to play it. I'm going to go John Hunter. John Hunter for the rebound. Make it 4 weeks in a row with John Hunter. And then over to the Cup Series. I am going to go with a typical repeater at Richmond, and I am going to go with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. So there you have my picks. All right. Lap traffic. There it is. Let's see what you guys are able to do this week. Okay. Well, Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to be a wrap for episode 316 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. Huge thanks to Joe Fowler from MIS, Jim Wise from FireKeepers, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Let's see what we can get lined up for next week. Hopefully, it's the legendary Jeff Striegel. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya!